Good morning. I don't know if I can continue doing TikToks. I took a day off yesterday. I've been doing TikToks for I don't know how long now. I'm up to 1,200 followers. Way! I broke 1,000. And yet this morning, when I turned on the camera to do my TikTok, my talk, I couldn't do it. It just died in my mouth. Why is that? Well, I was going to do a talk on the feeling of the Trumpers for being unique and special. And it just died in my mouth, and I suddenly realized that why am I doing this? I want to be unique. I want to be so special. I want to get followers and subscribers. I want to be the one people listen to. I want to be unique. And when I saw that, it just became cotton in my mouth. The words just fell off. The words, it was like icicles coming off the roof in a spring thaw. I had a samadhi once like that. A samadhi is a break where what you think you were, what you thought you were, the world you thought was real falls off like ice. And I remember it so clearly. It was back in the 70s. I'm 89. So I was awake and aware in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 20s. I have a wide-angle view. But I remember Ruth. I remember going into the library of the Edgar Cayce Institute in Virginia Beach. I was driving a meat truck at the time, and I stopped at the Edgar Cayce Institute and walked in there, just curious. I walked in, and there was a librarian sitting there at the desk. And when I saw her, our eyes met, I remember asking her, where is the books? And our eyes met. And my personality, the question, who I was, where I was, just fell off. And I knew who she was, and I don't know if she knew me, but I knew who she was. I was home. There was no sexual thing there. She was older than me, but I knew her. And in knowing her, I knew myself, and the self that I thought I was, the meat truck driver, fell off the vine like icicles off the roof. And I was awake, and I was aware. And these are called little samadhis. Breakthrough, they're breaks in the reality we believe is real. In the personality we believe is a real person. It fell off. And so when I related to Ruth, she was like a soulmate. We were in a space that was had no boundaries. We were in a space that had no limitations. It was a free space, and I think we've all hopefully had that experience. Usually, it's when we fall in love. And that moment of falling in love or seeing our beloved is like a samadhi. But then we want to possess it, you see. Now we see the cause of our samadhi, our awakening, as the other person. And we want to possess it. And so we get into a relationship. And if there's a honeymoon period, but then you're married, and then the ice comes back. And anyway, I digress. The point is that these moments of knowing, of awakening, are universal, but we don't know how to make them last. Anyway, I used to go, every time I would drive, go to Virginia Beach, where Edgar Cayce was, I would stop in to see Ruth, and there would be an oasis. After I'd stop by her house and we'd have tea. And She had come to Edgar Casey from California. Her husband had died, and she had ended up at the Edgar Casey Institute, not really knowing why. And I never knew was she an old soul? Had I known her in previous lives? But whenever I was with Ruth, I was in a vast space where nothing was special or holy. And this is what Bodhidharma described, the Zen master that brought Zen Buddhism to China. When he was asked, "What is your teaching?" And he said, "Vast space where not a thing is holy. Vast space where not a thing is special." Now we get drunk on these spaces because we think we're special. We think it's special to have an awakening, to be awakened, to be special. And so we create something that's holy, which is our ego. So we really, the irony of these little samadhis or awakenings is that we get attached to them and think we're awakened or special. And this is what's happened to America right now. MAGA Trump is kind of like tripping and awakening where you're special and you're unique as a people. See, this is the fallacy of Trump and MAGA, is that Trumpism, MAGA, has the feeling of being special, unique, the one and only, the honored one, as a people, not as an individual. So when I met you, Ruth, it was not as a people. It was not in a yoga tradition or a Zen tradition. There was no guru or teacher. It was an awakening that was personal. It was not an awakening of a people, a church, a movement, a tradition, you see, a yoga thing. So the fallacy of Trumpism, which is where we're caught now, is that Trump is for the Trumpers, the MAGA people, is the feeling of being unique and special as a people. And this creates a trip. It's almost like an LSD trip. It's intoxicating to be unique, to be special, to have no boundaries, to have nothing, to have no perimeter. This was the intoxication of going west. Go west, young man. There are no boundaries. There are no obstacles. There are no walls. It's endless space. And this was the feeling of Ruth, you see. The feeling of being in endless space with no obstacles, no laws, no boundaries, nothing holy, just infinite emptiness, says Zen. No boundaries, no laws, no rules. Total liberty, total freedom. Total freedom is the feeling of being endless, no obstructions. But it's not metaphysical. I mean, it's not like theological. It's experiential. And so I'm running out of time now, so I've got to stop. My talks are stumbling talks. It's like a cotton ball, and I pull apart during the talk. So it kind of rambles, but it's discovering. It's a discovery. So anyway, I welcome you to subscribe to my talks, and we'll see what we can discover. Thanks for dropping in.